Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to HOI IV as we're playing as Germany. So with that sponsored series for the Galactic Civilization 4 expansion megastructures, with that series finished up, we'll return to our coverage of HOI4 and its new expansion. And it is unfortunate that we did take that break when we did, since the war will be happening soon. Let's go ahead and get those planes put in place. I've already designed those just to save us a bit of time, so you can see that these three plane models are now all considered outdated. So these are our new fighters. We've got 3 sets of the 4x light machine guns. So the air attack is sitting at 31.5, which is about what it was before I removed the cannons here, which I don't really like the cannons as much as the regular machine guns because they have such a high production cost. They do double the air attack, but in addition to the higher production costs, you're also losing some of the agility, and they have a much higher weight. So that's going to further reduce the plane's agility, so I'd prefer to just have the machine guns on there, and you can get 3 sets, and it results in the same air attack as the base model that we had here with the cannons. We have the engines on there and the drop tanks, and we've already upgraded their MIO. For the close air support, pretty basic design here as well. We got the defense turrets and the drop tanks, and then we have the small bomb bay combined with the heavy bomb locks. So these two have the same ground attack, and effectively they have the same weight as well, but this one is going to further reduce your agility. So the reason why I have this instead of having just 2 of these small bomb bays is simply due to production costs. This one's much cheaper at just 1 production cost, while these are 3. And so that's the main reason, just to bring down the production cost by a little bit, and it doesn't impact their actual attack power. So we've got those for the close air support, and then here's our naval bombers. They're basically the same as our previous version of naval bombers, with the torpedoes on there. Don't have the next level of those. Obviously got the higher engine, and you got the extra slot here, which allowed us to get the defense turrets in addition to the drop tanks and the floats. Alright, so let's go ahead and upgrade all 3 of these production lines so we can start getting the new planes out there, which are, quite a bit better. We're lacking the rubber, but we have the refineries building 2 of these, so that should solve that issue. In addition, I went ahead and set up the nuclear research facility, so we've got that building, I think, right here. Now, the more accurate place to build it, just for Germany's history with like the heavy water, would probably be over here in Norway. But we're not going to put it in Norway because this is not the most protected location. I prefer to have all of our important facilities within Germany. Alright, so we're going to try and make as much progress as we can. Remember, we're allowing our enemies to get through their focus trees, because we saw that France had barely made any progress, and the main reason for that is because this is the side of the Civil War that was supposed to lose, so they spawned when the Civil War happened, and thus hadn't made any progress on their focus tree. And the French country that started the game and had made progress on the focuses, they were wiped out. And so that's the reason for that. We've also seen that Italy and the Soviet Union, they could use a bit more time working on their focuses as well, so we're giving them that time. Let them better prepare. So I think this is because we had that event. We gave them the right to use our tanks. So that's the reason for this notification. I think we just go ahead and dismiss that, so I don't keep looking at it. And it's not a situation that you'll generally see happen. So we can now start a special project somewhere as well. I think we're waiting to get the breakthroughs. And since we only have 1, we can't get the jet engines or the helicopters. I don't think we'd get those first anyways, because these will unlock different raids that we can do. So let's get the bouncing bomb, so we can do the dam bombing raid and the lock bombing raids. And maybe we'll get this one after that, which will allow you to raid the mega gun emplacements. So yeah, we'll get the bouncing bombs and get that started. We also have a notification over here, an event that happened. So this is swimming in ideas, which has given us a bit more progress and some experience for our scientist. So seems that the special projects are going well thus far. And the Union of Britain just banished their royal family. So they're finally moving down that part of their focus tree. So once they go communist, I guess we could take a look. I don't know how much we can actually see. We can't see their focus tree. Okay, so we did unlock a trait for the medium tank designer. And since we're still building these, let's get the production output up. Because yeah, we still have a shortage for those. So we're ignoring these calls to arms. This is another reason why I kind of wanted to wait. I'm hoping that the war here in China finishes up. They're fighting the whole world, you know, both factions. So you'd expect that they'd lose soon, but I'd like to have the peace treaty here, everything get divided between these two factions, so that both sides can just focus on the war against each other. Because I think that's the most interesting way for this to develop. And also, how many troops did both sides send to the Asian front over here? And so I'd like for that to get wrapped up as well. So we finished up our focus here. This is going to grant us a bunch of bonuses, including division recovery rate, extra stability and war support, and also resistance growth speed will be reduced. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start working on the rest of these economic focuses. I think we'll get this one first to increase the factory and dockyard outputs. It'll also give us some more slots that we can build in. And I think it was like 2 or 3 states there, since it would result in them being dense urban, and that gives them more building slots. So we finished up the research for the 1940 submarine hulls. All right, excellent. So we'll build against a much better submarine out there, but we're also going to want to get the basic submarine snorkels, and this hopefully shouldn't take too long for us to research. We'll be using that submarine designer. So yeah, 72 days to get that done. We also have an event here for our V3 multi-charge large caliber gun. This is just granting us some army experience, so that's always helpful. You get some extra army experience. And then since we're about to design the new subs, we want to make sure we get the trait for the MIO first. I say let's go all in on attack rather than the HP here. So we'll get that updated. And then we need to design the new 1940 submarines here, which would be pretty simple. Not a lot to the submarines. We want to get the torpedo tubes on there. We could put the radar on there temporarily. I don't see the point, since we're not going to build very many of those in the 72 days before we get the snorkels, which is what we'll be placing in that slot. But we want to have the torpedo attack as high as possible. Let's go ahead and update this. So those are the total bonuses that we're currently getting. And we'll have them named after historical submarines. I think everything else is good here. Let's go ahead and save that. And then, I don't know if we need to outdate anything. We don't. This is already outdated. So we'll let them finish that. And then we'll want to build the new ones. So we'll place this on top here. Put any dockyards we get into those. I think we're good to go. So this one will be finished on the 22nd of May, so just a week. And we should have a few done. Yeah, we have 2. Now you'll notice I did make some adjustments with our army and with our navy, starting to get prepared for the outbreak of the war. So we have 3 separate theaters. I don't usually do that with my fleets, but did it for this one. So we got North Europe, South Europe, and Asia. And most of our ships are going to remain in North Europe, this core area here that we want to defend. But I want to make sure we get some submarine assistance in the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. That's what these fleets will be doing, or these task force. And then I also sent one to Asia. They're going to go over here to Japan, operate out of there, and help out the Japanese. You know, just try and sink any convoys that might be going through that area. We still do need to assign commanders, and some of these admirals wouldn't be a good choice for a submarine commander. Like, they have the naval lineage, which results in a reduction of their retreat decision chance. You don't want the subs to retreat when they're in danger. Or gentlemanly, this results in the enemy having a higher retreat chance, so that's not good because you don't want the convoys to get away from you. I think our 2 best choices would probably be these 2 characters here. Herman, who's Craven, he would reduce the damage, but he does increase the chance that you'll be able to retreat. I think he would be better to instead be in charge of our mining fleet, because we'll probably give them a separate fleet with a separate admiral. I think these 2 commanders here are our best choices, even though they do have a reduction of their leader experience gain. They're bold, so they have higher speed and higher damage. Their stats are functionally exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one we assign to each. So we're going to go ahead and we'll have Marshall over here in Southern Europe, and the other one will go to Asia. I suppose we can go ahead and set this up now, put them into a separate task force, since we know we're going to want to do that anyways. And yeah, I guess they could be the pink. What colors do we have so far? We could also do yellow. And then we'll assign them Herman, Craven, and he's also got the superior tactician trait. And we could get him the Minecraft to increase the naval mine laying efficiency, also mine sweeping efficiency, and they'd be more likely to avoid any mines. So we're going to get him that, and it looks like we can get another one. I suppose the destroyer one would be the most useful since it reduces the visibility, so we'll get that one. We could get an additional one, but neither one of these are actually going to help him. I suppose you could get the fly swatter for the naval AA attack. I am hesitant to spend all of our resources on this one guy though, considering the fact that he's just in charge of our mine laying fleets. So let's go ahead and get them assigned to all these locations here. I'll probably put them here as well though. You know what, that actually isn't going to help that much, because this zone here is ocean, so it has the negative 75% to chance of hitting naval mines, so probably not as useful putting them over there. Alright, so that looks good to go. We could also get some of these submarines assigned. Put them in a new task force over here, stop their training. So as of right now, we have 7 task force in this area, 4 here and 4 in this one. Looking at the army, built up the number of troops that we have on the Dutch border. Also changed up some of the icons, gave them all commanders as well, since there's a few that didn't have any yet. We also got a new field marshal and army here, and it looks like that war has finally finished up. Alright, so we'll go take a look at the situation over there in a minute. I did want to show you guys that we have Heinrich Himmler. He's in charge of the more defensive focused armies, or army group I should say, and we do need to give him some traits. So we'll want to get the defensive doctrine to increase the max entrenchment, so we'll get that first. And I suppose on defense, the division recovery rate might be a little bit more useful, but they are going to be in charge of the ports mainly. Yeah, we'll go and go with this one. Maybe we'll get another trait and we can get the organization first next. So first of all, Catholic Mexico just declared war on Honduras, which is not on their borders or the borders of anybody in their faction, so not entirely sure how that war is going to take place. And it does result in it being more likely that they're going to find themselves at war with the Americans, so they need to be careful with these war declarations. And then we want to take a look at the situation over here now that China has been defeated. So you have Communist China now owns this territory over here. They no longer have any of the territory that they start the game with, still under Mao. And then the Soviets took this, the Union of Soviet Republics. So kind of weird that they didn't give it to Communist China, considering that is their subject. And it looks like the rest of this went to Japan or their subjects. Yeah, they directly annexed all this territory, so Japan is going to have a ton of manpower to utilize. And this is what's left of China. It's the reorganized government of China. They are fascist, and they just control this territory here, so basically what Communist China used to have here. Okay, so that's the situation. And now that the war's over, yeah, they're going to join that faction as well, and it seems that there's somebody we can invite to their faction, El Salvador. Okay, so remember, we do not want anybody in the Americas in our faction, so we're just going to go ahead and ignore that. It does seem we also have some free civilian factories, so we got the refineries done and also those military factories. We're going to need additional military factories, guys. We could also start with the radar, because we got one of them built here after we got that special project. We need to get some more. Remember, we can only get the 1 levels, so it doesn't really help us a lot. Probably put one here as well, and also one right here. And then we're fighting the Italians, so we want to put one right here. I suppose we shouldn't forget about Scandinavia. This one might be a little close to that, but it's fine. And then we'll also do one right here. I think that's probably good for now. Let's get more military factories. Again, always need more of these. We got like 2 here. Trying to avoid building in non-core territory. And it looks like we don't have any more 80% core territory. It's all 60%. I don't know if that's a core or not. We'd have to look. But yeah, I guess we'll just build here in the 60% locations. So get a few more military factories after we finish the construction of the radar. So now that war is done, we're just giving them a bit more time. I suppose we could attack France, right about now here, and trying to get as close to the historical date as possible. Looks like Japan is already justifying against communist China, so maybe they'll be the ones to start the conflict of. And this is going to be interesting because Japan's going to be fighting their faction all along this border here, as well as in Indochina. So they may be the ones to start the war. I want to give them just a bit more time to let everybody get their troops onto the border, since now there's really only one conflict that most of us can do, and that's against the 2 factions. And so should result in the AI knowing what's coming next and starting to put troops all up on the borders. You can see that our border with France here is looking pretty well defended. Not in all the areas. Obviously they have the forts here with the Maginot Line, so it doesn't need to be as well defended, but there are troops from a bunch of different countries here. So it's going to be more difficult to defeat the French since they got the assistance of their allies. I suppose we'll add these factories to the mechanized. Still have a bit of shortage on the medium tanks and the self-propelled artillery, as well as the armored support vehicles. And we did get a trait for the fast tanks designer. So we could start to move down this branch, increasing the defense. But I think we're going to get this one first because we now are at size 4. In fact, we're at size 5. And so we can get these nice bonuses. It's another scientist. And we also will get the 5% to the research bonus for this MIO. So yeah, let's go ahead. I don't think we have to apply that since it's just bonuses that wouldn't apply to the actual equipment. So we actually have some army experience to spend. We got one more of these spirits that we need to get. I think we'll probably just get the bold attack. Just go real basic there. And then we also need to start making some adjustments to our Alpine divisions. So all we're doing here, again, these are really simple since you don't want to add anything else and result in them losing the penalties that they get. I suppose since they're going to be focused on mountains, it makes sense to get them up to 24, though we might not have enough experience for all that. Okay, so we'll have to finish them after we get a bit more experience. So we can get up to the 20 combat with, and it's not like we have manpower to build them anyways. Essentially all that's going to do is result in the one mountain unit that we have here getting a lot more troops. And so we'll need to get them training. Probably just put them back into the training army actually. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. The dawn of the South American Federation. So is this another faction? It is. So Guatemala and Honduras are now in a faction. So that might be good, might be bad, because maybe the Americans joined that faction. But you know what? That might be for the best anyways. So we did finish up our special project, the cruiser submarines. Alright, excellent. I forgot we were getting these, so we just designed those 1940 submarines, and maybe we'll be getting these instead. I want to take a look at those, and we might not even have the naval experience for it, though it does say we have a 100% discount for the design template. So I wanted to see if we had any other events that we missed. We did not. And so now we need to take a look at the design for this cruiser submarine. So I think the only real difference between these two is that the 1940 submarine has a faster speed, but a much lower range. Now you may be noticing other differences, but keep in mind that this has the worst engine. It's a level 1 engine, while this one is a little bit more updated. So level 2 engine, so it's using more fuel and also has a higher max speed. But even if you added this onto level 2, its max speed would still be lower than the 1940. But then also this has the MIO attached to it, so the detection and subvisibility are also being affected. So I think the only real difference is the speed and the range. I remember that's just the difference with their base stats, because the cruiser submarine has different modules that it can add on there. Most importantly, the one that we got access to because of that one choice we took with the project, we can now get the 200mm batteries. This will increase the subvisibility while also increasing the rating efficiency. Obviously it'll be quite a bit better, though it's going to have much lower attack since you won't have the extra torpedo tube here. So that's something to consider as well, but I think the efficiency would more than make up for it. Let's go and get this designed. I want to put the new engines on there, and then we could put the float plane catapults on there. That's another thing this has access to, the other one doesn't, but I don't think that we really need increased detection. I'd rather have the higher attack, particularly since these two slots will not be used for the torpedoes. So we won't get the radar on there. Okay, it seems we'll have to put the torpedoes here because this one has to be used for the deck gun. We'll also want to put the MIO in place, and we'll use this icon here. So let's go ahead and save that, because remember we have the bonus there, the 100% discount, so we don't have to use any naval experience, which is nice, but we will have to make a further adjustment once we get that snorkel tech. So let's go and save that, and then we'll want to get these building. Did we even start on this one? We did. So we're only going to build one more of those, because I think it'd be better to just have these out there. I'll show you guys the exact difference between their stats now that they're both finished. Let's first get the dockyard assigned. Remember, you can't really see the full difference since I don't think that efficiency would be fully represented. Yeah, it wouldn't be represented because it doesn't tell you what their efficiency is while doing missions. But outside of that, you see that the cruiser submarine is sacrificing speed for range. Obviously it has a lower attack power as well, since we don't have the extra torpedoes on there. And it seems that the subvisibility is lower for the 1940, which makes sense because the cruiser submarine is larger. The production cost is also different. These cruiser submarines are going to take us longer to build. Yeah, we're just going to focus on those. And I want to say that the cruiser submarines are not as good as the next version of submarine. That does not unlock until 1944. Can spend our experience either on the airborne armor or to get the air doctrine, which would be really cheap since we have those reductions. So let's go and get that. That's an increase of agility and air superiority. Agility just for the close air support. Remember, we're not going to get any additional ones here until after we get some more of those focuses, since we could be saving experience. We finally got the political power to change up our conscription. In fact, we only needed 112. I was thinking 150. I forgot we had the reductions. So let's go and get that now. So we'll start getting more manpower, because we need to do some training here, which we do need to add the last two mountain units here. Get them up to the 24 combat width. Still need to get all of their support battalions, but nothing stopping us from getting some of these trained now. Then we'll want to set them up to deploy to that training army as soon as they're done. So those will be useful in the mountains here when we fight Italy. We still have the political power to spend. I don't know if there's anything else we want to do here besides some adjustments eventually. Like we might replace him at some point, because we have some better options that will eventually unlock. But for right now, we can spend the political power for the citations. So we'll reward some of our lower level generals. Looks like a lot of these are the paratroopers. So let's give them supply consumption is pretty helpful, but we're going to do the division organization so they can fight a bit longer. And this general made me realize that we need to do something about this motorized division, because it's not fully designed. I don't really know that we need to use it either. So I think we might just go ahead and change both of these over to light tanks. Yeah, we'll just change them over to light tanks and then put them into the training army. Let them train up. We actually have one light tank that is done training. So I want to put them into this army here, though it does look like we're having some supply issues. So might want to take a look at the supply situation here. So due to the Dutch owning this province here, our supplies are going on this rail. Seeing that this is a level 1, so we eventually need to get that repaired, or excuse me, improved. You know, let's just go ahead and do that now. Take that up to the top, since that would impact us as we advanced into France. But really, with this massive number of troops on the border, we need level 3 rails all the way from the capital. So it seems there's a lot of bottlenecks here. This is level 3, but that's level 2. So you gotta get this one improved. So now we're going on level 3 here, but this is level 2. So yeah, you gotta improve it all throughout here. Maybe it'd be better to do, because this is all level 3. Okay, so maybe we don't have to do that. Now, having level 3 going down here might be helpful, but let's only fix one issue at a time. Let's focus on the issue that we're trying to solve. So we actually have a level 3 going through this way here, and the reason why we're not using that rail is because it's a level 1 here. So we could get this up to level 3, and then it would continue to use this one all through here, and then you got to get the level 3 rails in this area. Because it's not an issue with the supply hub, it can provide quite a bit of supply because it's the capital one. We're also seeing some minor supply issues up along here. Just kind of checking all of our borders, seeing how things are looking. Pretty good everywhere else. Yeah, in this area you got some problems, but not a lot of troops here, so it's not something that we have to adjust at the moment. Glad to see the supply here is looking pretty good. I guess it's because we don't have all those troops from our allies like we do on this frontier against France. So that's the main problem. It looks like one of our agents in France was killed, unfortunately. We'll have to see which one that was. So he was the one that was decreasing their stability and war support. So we'll get another one here in 30 days, and then we'll assign them. Was he the French guy? No, we still got the French guy there. He's safe. Alright, excellent. Because yeah, we don't want to lose our French double agent. She had all these events about. So yeah, just improving the supply situation. Getting that worked on, because I think we're going to go to war here in August. And that war in India is done as well. They're still not aligned though, so you cannot add them to the communist faction until the war starts. Once the war starts, then it doesn't really matter what their ideologies are. So we got the heavy machine guns, so we could go ahead and add those to our planes if we wanted to. Also the defense turrets. Before we do that, we might want to wait until we get this engine done in just one day. There's still a bunch of stuff we need here. We need the improved air launch torpedoes for our naval bombers. Also need the medium airframes, and if we want to get strategic bombers, we'll have to get the larger airframes. And then we'll want to improve our transport planes. I feel like it makes the most sense to get the modules first. So let's go ahead and get these and have the naval aircraft designer get the funding there, just to get them improved a bit. So yeah, we just got the engines 3. Let's get the better medium planes. And we'll use the medium aircraft designer, of course, for the research there. And then we'll want to change up the designs for our planes. So I think all of them are going to need to be adjusted since they have those defense turrets on there. And we want to put the heavy ones. Now, there is a cost to this. It's a bit higher production. Also going to increase the weight. However, you're getting 1 more point of air defense, a half a point of air attack, and it's increasing the agility, so it kind of makes up for some of the weight gain that you get there. So yeah, we'll get that put in place, and yeah, we should be good on the weight here for the naval bombers. So let's go ahead and save that, and then we'll need to add those to it, but let's do all the other adjustments first. Because yeah, we're going to change all of them up. So get them saved, and then the fighters. Whether or not to get these is not so simple, since it drastically increases the air attack, but also adds a lot to the weight. Reduction cost doesn't go up by too much. So you might not want to get all of them changed over, just because it's going to affect your agility so much, and agility is incredibly important. So maybe just change up a couple of them, or perhaps only one. Yeah, you know what, we'll just change the one up, guys. I think that's pretty good. So it's going to save it. It's going to get the attack up by 8 more points, while not reducing the agility that much. And then we'll leave the 2 sets of the light machine guns. So then save that, and I guess we didn't have to do anything with the engines. We already have the level 3 engines here, and we don't need the 2 engines on there. So let's go ahead and get these all updated. So do the fighters, close air support, and the naval bombers. So they'll have higher air defense or air attack. Depending on what type of plane they are, they're just going to be better overall. We also got a trait for the close air support designer. I'm going to go ahead and further improve the ground attack here. We just changed these up, and now we got to do it again. That's okay. The efficiency will remain the same. We're good on rubber now, but it's tungsten that we're having a bit of a shortage of, and that's because we can't get as much from Chile. So we're going to have to trade with somebody else. It seems that Japan has quite a bit that we could trade for. So you know what, let's get 3 there, and then we'll just reduce our reliance on Chile a bit. We can reduce that one more. We also got the improved computing machines, excellent. So that gets you the bomb sights, which will be good once we start using strategic bombers. Also get you the stabilizer, increases the breakthrough on the tanks, but most importantly, the reason why we got this is for that increased research speed. And we have the 75% research bonus for the atomic research, so that's what we're going to get next, guys, since we have started to work on the facility for that. It looks like we're pretty close to being done as well. We'll have that finished up in August 28th, which is when I'm thinking about declaring wars in the beginning of August. We got our national focus completed. Yeah, there's a lot of troops on the French border, so they should be able to put up a pretty good fight. Let's go ahead and get this focus. It's a 70-day one. Give us some nice bonuses there. Let's see, we have some notifications up here, some events that happened. So event 4, we got a research bonus for artillery. Also got some breakthrough progress, excellent. And then with this event on the bouncing bombs, we got some increased air experience. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and get the airborne armor. It's only going to cost us 15 experience. So the way I look at these 2 ranches here is, do you want to focus on your paratroopers for the bonuses, or do you want to get bonuses that apply more for all your special forces? So with these first 2, these are both paratrooper focused, but then you get the supply forces supply grace, that's for all special forces. And then the bonuses here, most of those are for all your special forces, increasing their attack and reducing their division training time. Another way to look at this is quality over quantity. Since with this route here, you'll be able to get more special forces, since the paratroopers don't contribute as much to the camp, and you can also train them faster. While this one overall, I think is going to make your troops a bit better, or I should say make your paratroopers better, increasing their organization, reducing their supply use, also going to get defense if you're using the signal companies, and then they're also going to get a lot more breakthrough in attack than they would here. This is just a 10% bonus, while this is a 15% bonus, and then they also get the breakthrough, where in this case they don't. But it's going to increase their training time. So I think with this route here, your paratroopers are going to be much better overall. Though this recovery rate is really nice, I will admit. But we're going to go ahead and do this one, guys. This is also nice, I didn't even mention this, is that you will not need to have as many transport planes, and that's something we've had an issue with. So that's another reason why this is more focused on quantity. We're going to go with this route here. We have a 25% research bonus. I don't think we're going to get any more either. So let's go ahead and invest the 45 experience to get that one. I'd like to confirm that we're not going to get any more bonuses to researching those. I want to say there's nothing in the focus tree, but let's just double check on that. Yeah, I went through all the army and air ones, and we do get some bonuses for the mountain doctrines for those alpine troops, but nothing in here for the paratroopers. So we could invest in those, but we also need to keep some experience for when we finish up with our current research for the medium bombers and the improved air launch torpedoes. So we won't get those just yet. Trying to get to August here for when we're ready to declare war. We got more paratroopers that we can add, though I don't think we could actually drop all of these. I guess we can just get them all selected here. Get them moving over here. on the rails. I changed up their commander as well, so Kurt Student's now in charge. And we can also get him the paratroopers trait that will give them 240 extra hours of supply grace. He could get the camouflage expert. That would help them out if we didn't have control of the skies. But we're going to leave the trait for something else for now. Let me show you the effects of the glider planes. So you have to spend the command power as usual, and that's going to reduce the amount of space that you need for the transport planes and also increase their organization after paradropping, and they'll get some anti-air defense too. So it's very useful for the paradrop, so we want to make sure that we utilize it. Hopefully I don't forget. So we currently have 192 of these transport planes, so might be able to transport 4 of those units at the moment. I'd like to be able to do at least 5 at a time. We got the basic submarine snorkels, excellent. So we're done here with the naval techs for now. Eventually we want to get some other stuff, but naval techs are really not our focus, guys. And there's a ton of 1940 stuff we still need to get. Obviously got to get all those. So in 42 days we'll get the medium tanks. Still need to get the 1940 heavy tanks. Nothing here that we have to get right now. A lot of bonuses here that we want though. Some HASA bonuses, and then also the bonus for the paratroopers, which you can get that in 72 days. But I prefer to get a bonus for all of our troops. So let's go and increase the, let's see, that'll take 168 days. So we'll get this one first, just because it's quicker, increasing the defense and the breakthrough. I suppose we have plenty of time to get more air experience. So yeah, we will go ahead and get the enhanced navigational training to improve our paratroopers even further. So we only need to get one more of the doctrine, the best of the best, which of course is the best of the bonuses. That's a really nice increase to their attack and breakthrough. Speaking of those doctrines, we now need to decide which one of these support companies we want to replace, so we can put that light tank bonus on here. Well, it won't let me replace the artillery with it. Not entirely sure the reason for that, because it's on the bottom or something. But let's just say you wanted to replace the recon detachment. So here's the airborne light armor. So this will allow them to still be an airborne unit, and this is what we'd get for replacing them. We'd increase the organization, reduce the supply use, we'd be getting a lot more soft attack, a bit of hard attack. We're going to have less defense, but a much higher breakthrough. Obviously you're going to get some armor as well and some piercing, and of course this changes up the equipment cost, so overall these are going to be much more costly when it comes to the production. But you don't have to change the recon up. Could instead do logistics or signal or whatever. So if you just change the signal over, you see we're going to lose a lot more defense, but we'll actually get HP and organization from this. So yeah, let me know guys which one of these 5 support companies we should change to the airborne light armor, because I think we should definitely change them up because it's one of the better companies that you can get for your airborne divisions. So I think we're going to end today's episode here, because we're going to be declaring war next, and I want to get these factions set up, though they're still democratic, but I want to get them added into our faction. India added into the communist faction. Oh yes, and I got to take a look at Australia and New Zealand. Seems like they also are still democratic, but we can get them added too. But the goal is to declare war in just a couple days. We'll be using our war goal on the Netherlands. I don't think we have a war goal on anybody else at the moment. So yeah, we'll declare war on the Dutch, and they're not in a faction, so I'll have to add them to the communist faction as well. So that's one reason why I want to end it here, because we got to get the factions sorted out. We don't want to just be able to easily conquer the Dutch. We want them in that communist faction. It seems the situation has changed over here as well. The Hungarians now have control of all of Croatia, so we might want to move some of the troops here, although they're not exhausting supply. But what I was going to say is you could move some of the troops from here over to this front, though it's looking like it's fairly well defended, or over to the front with the Soviets. We also need to get these troops that we've been training. We need to go ahead and just deploy them all. So we need to get a location set up. We'll put them right here. Just go ahead and deploy them. and then put them into this army here, and they can train once they get to their locations. And we'll want to set them up to do the area defense only to protect the naval bases. And we can't protect the entire coastline, though we would want to protect our naval engineer facility. So we'll do that as well. But I think that's it. Yeah, that's probably good. So let's go ahead and have them protect the entire coastline. Now they shouldn't be able to get through here and attack us, but the Soviets can. I don't know if they'd even launch a naval invasion. We don't need to protect that port. We already have some troops at that location, but we gotta protect this entire coastline. So as of right now, we need 21, now 23 divisions. So basically we do not have enough. So we're gonna have to get a few more trained up. It wouldn't hurt to have a lot more of these trained up anyways. Let's just do 7 more of these. I think that's good. 25 divisions, so we'll have like 2 extra ones. I've also been taking care of our operatives off camera, so we got them assigned to all of the major countries, getting us some intel there. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you in the next episode, where we're going to declare war on the 4th International. So remember, these are the factions as of right now, which that will be changing, because I'll go ahead and do another event to add those other countries into the 2 factions. I think the only country we're getting is South Africa, but Australia, India, New Zealand, and the Netherlands will all be added into the 4th International, and hopefully in the time it takes for me to declare war, they won't all just leave the faction. It's only going to be a few days while we let our planes move around. So I'm hoping that does not become a problem. We'll have to see, because the AI never wants to cooperate with me. But I do hope to see you guys on that episode, and thanks for watching.